Hello guys, today we will be performing the first part of our Power BI. Remember when I made mention in the previous video where we did introduction to Power BI, where I said there's a data source, the calculation and the data visualization. So now we'll be looking at Power Query editor. Okay, we're performing the ETL, that is the extraction, transformation and loading. Now the first thing we're going to look at now, you can see if you check your normal Power page, if you open your Power BI the first time, you are going to have this information. You can see open, save as, share, get data, import, and export. Remember, Power BI has a community which we call Power BI service, whereby we meet other users and we interact. We share our own insight, data analytics, and they share out theirs. So we see it's like a community where we get updated. Now, here now you can see we have new recommended. So we're going to click on blank report. Click on blank report. So you can see that we have the different ribbons. So blank report, if you click on blank report, you're going to have this. Okay, if you click it again, it's going to create another different blank report. So I have it before, I don't want to click it anymore. All right. So but for you learning the first time, just click on the blank report and you're going to have this view. Remember I said that this is the report view, the table view, the model view, and the DTX view. All right. So now we want to perform the first stage. So the first stage is the data sourcing. So what we are going to do now is that I want to import a data into Power BI before I can perform analytics. Okay. So to do this now, I'm going to click on get data from another source. Now, why am I choosing this information? Because if I choose get data from another source, I can see the list of channels I can connect to get my data. Remember I said that we have Power Database, Microsoft Fabric, the Power Platform, and the likes. Okay, so now I want to import a file. And if you want to import a file, it is very, very important for you to know what file are you importing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to check for my downloads. So you can see I'm going to be using the global store. Now, when I want to use the global store, I have to check for the type. If I check for the type, you can see Microsoft Excel command separated values. So meaning that the file is a CSV file. So now, why is it important? Because if you don't know the extension of that file, you won't be able to import it. So now we know it's a CSV file. I'm going to click on this text and CSV file. So we click it. So by the time you click it, then connect. So by the time you do this now, what you are going to see is that you're going to see only files that are CSV. All right. So I'll go to my download again and it's going to show. You can see. But if, for example, you clicked on the text file and you will now realize that, okay, it's no longer a CSV file, or you are not sure, or you are not able to see it, what you're going to do is change this text file to all files. So when you say all files, it means that you are going to show all related files, whether CSV, whether TXT, anyone, you are going to see all of them by just changing this to all files. But I'm going to use my my global store. I click on it and I open. Now, you see, I click on open. So you're going to wait. Now, you see now, we have been able to view our information. You can see now, it's giving me all the information. So what we have done now is we have extracted that information into Power BI. Now, we have load, we have transform. But we can't just load the information. Why? Because this information might have some missing values. Okay? So we want to check for those missing values. Are they the right data type? Any duplicates? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on transform data. So when I click on transform data, it's going to take me to my Power Query editor. So you can see Power Query editor. Now, in the Power Query editor, what we can do here is that, like I said, we can use to check for missing values. We can use to check for duplicates. We can use to check if they're in the right data type. Remember, I said that we have strings, that's text. We have whole numbers. We have decimals. We have dates, and we have date time. All right. So now, in my Power Query editor now, I will be able to make changes. Remember, this table is called queries in Power Query editor. Okay, so now in the interface now you can see our data is showing, And if you come to your right, you see properties, the name of our file, and apply steps. Now, this apply steps shows us, it records all our actions. So in case we want to go back, we can cancel using this, sticking to the X. All right. Now, you can see my data is showing, but it's not giving me, it's not showing me in terms of empty values or errors or valid. So what you're going to do is, remember, we are on the file page. Now, take your cursor to the left to the view. Click on the view. Now, when you click on the view, you're going to see column distribution, column quantity. So click on column distribution, you can see, and click on column quantity. Now, when you click on these two informations now, it's going to show us in terms of distributions. Okay, you can see now for the first one, rule ID, valid 100, error 0, empty 0. So this means that this column is clean. It's clean. Okay, then if you look at our other information, you can see we have 1000 distinct. So distinct means that we have 1000 informations present. Okay, and you can see we have also again 1000 unique. Now, unique means that 1000 values that were not repeated, they only appeared once on our column. So please take note of that, the distinct and the unique. I'll come again. The distinct is they show all the informations regardless of if they are duplicates or not, but the unique means we have only the informations that appear once in our column. So we're going to check for the rest of them. Now, to check for the data type, I can click on this symbol here. You can see 1, 2, 3. If I click on it, you can see whole numbers. So we have decimals, percentage, and the likes. So now it's in the right data type. Then we're going to check for the rest of all of them. So you can see A, B, C, D. So columns that contains words and numbers can be classified as text. Okay, so you see text, we classify them as text. Then we have other dates. If you click on this again, you're going to see the date. You can see date, so it's in the right data type. Now we have ship date, we have the ship mode, we have the customer ID. Then we also have a whole lot of information. So you can see you have to check all of them one after the other to see if they have missing value. So for us now, you can see we have a column whereby we have missing values. So here now if we have missing values in our information, it's two ways. Now, if it's on a categorical data, that's data that contains text, you leave the null. All right, but if it's on numbers, we can replace this null with 0, or we can drop the information. Now, if you want to drop an information, it has to be in terms of a proportion. If you have 80% missing data, you cannot drop that data, because when you drop it, you have lose the quality of that data. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to replace this with a with 0, replacing the null. So I'm going to teach you how to replace an information. So I'm going to right click. Please take note, my cursor is on in between this distribution. So I right click on it, and you see replace. Okay, this is replace values, replace empty. So what I'm going to do is click on it again. Don't click on this first one. Click on the name of your postal code. Right click on it, and you're going to see replace values. So when you click on replace values now, it's going to ask you the value to find, which is null, and the value replaced with what? So replace with 0. So when we do this and I say okay, I should have, you see, all our informations are already in 0. Okay, now you can see that our data now is now valid because we have been able to replace those informations which are null to 0. Okay, so that's how to do that. Or you can drop the information, but I won't advise us to drop this information. You can see it's one is more dominating, so we don't drop this. Now, if you want to see the total information, like in terms of your size, you can, if you scroll down here, you see 24 columns, 99 plus rows. So 24 columns, 99 plus rows. Now if I scroll, you can see we have a whole lot of information, but I'm checking for the missing values and empty values, which we have. So you can see we do not have missing values and empty values. Now, as you can see, we are checking for the information. Remember, if you are given a job to do, is that they're going to give you a guideline on what to do. You can't just have data and just go and perform. So I have a guideline on my download. If I click on it, it's going to give me the list of informations that I have. So you can see they said I should get the total sales, total quantity, total profit, and in terms of diagrams. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that we are going to extract an information from this table. So now if we want to get example the month, okay, so we can use the transform and the add column. Now transform, if I try to get the information from my transform, I click on transform and I click on this table order date, and I go to date. I see here the month, I click on month and I change it to month name. When I do this, is that I have transformed this column and I have truncated the previous information, meaning that the previous information is no longer showing because we have changed this column. Okay, so on certain situations you can do this, but for me now I want to extract the information and preserve the other information. So what I'm going to do, remember we said our apply steps, I'm going to click on cancel. Now remember it's selected, I'm going to go to add column. So now add column is going to help us extract this information and put it in a different column while we still preserve the previous information. So I go to add column, I go to the date, I go to month and the month name. So when I click on this, now you can see it says inserted month name, but to check we will just take our, so we're going to scroll to the last and you can see we have the month name. So you can see there's a difference between the transform and the add column. Please take note of those two. Transform is to transform the information and truncate the previous information, while the add column is to extract an information and still preserve the previous information. Okay, so we have this now and we have checked our information and we are certain that our information is clean. Now what we are going to do now to ensure that what we have done is permanently saved, we are going to go to home. Okay, home, and we're going to click on close and apply. But before I do that, I want to show you something. Another way to check for data type, I can go to my transform and you see data type because it's selected on the date. If I click on shift mode, you can see it's selected on the text. But if you are not sure of data type, you can click on detect data type. All right, so that's how to do that. So now since we are done, we just extracted the information and we saw that our data is clean. We have checked all our information in terms of the distributions and you can see it's clean. We are going to close and apply. Then one more thing is if you click on these numbers here, it's like a unique identifier. If I click on 13, all the information associated with 13, I am going to see them. Okay, so that's how to see information in terms of rows. All right, so now I want to ensure what we have done is saved, so I'm going to click on close and apply. So what we have done here is to transform. Okay, performing the transforming. Now if I close and apply, now I'm meaning that I want to ensure my informations are saved. So you're going to have the pending changes on your queries that have not been applied. So you're going to be patient with your Power BI and wait for it to respond. Depending on your system, if you are using Query 3, you will have a slow operation on your Power BI because it's a very, very powerful application. All right. So what I have done now is I have loaded my information into my report view. So what we have done now is we have been able to extract, we have been able to transform, and we have been able to load. So we have come to the end of this class.